Howdy, y'all. My name is Timothy Chen.
And I'm Luis Manos from GEOG130 News.
Today we have a special segment. A representative from Step Up Africa is here to talk about her plan to address iodine deficiency and gender education equality in Zambia. Step Up Africa is a developmental organization that partners with local and international development organizations to reduce micronutrient deficiencies, diminish gap in literacies and education, and to promote female upward mobility in society to improve the quality of life of all the people they serve.
Here with us today is Naisha Patel.
Thank you, Geography 130 News, and Tim and Louise, and welcome to the beautiful Zambia.
Absolutely. We have a couple questions for you.
Why is your organization focusing on malnutrition, education, and literacy for young girls and women empowerment, and how do you plan on addressing these issues?
Well, according to my research, Zambia is a very largely agricultural society. We chose to focus on malnutrition because Zambia is one of the most malnourished countries in sub-Saharan Africa, especially in regards to vitamin A deficiencies. The diet is very heavily dependent on grains, cereal, and rice, which, although is calorie-heavy, is not nutrient-rich. To prevent stunting in children, we hope to work with the large agricultural sector, namely farmers, to increase the supply of and access to the sweet potato, which is a root crop very rich in vitamin A. We hope to introduce biofortification, new technology, and education for farmers on how to grow, store, process, and transport sweet potatoes effectively. In terms of literacy and education gaps, we want to work with development organizations in Zambia in addition to the government to increase primary school attendance for young girls through an incentive program, as well as to implement a strong, comprehensive English curriculum that teaches and applies the English language at these schools to improve literacy. Lastly, discrimination against females is a huge issue that needs to be addressed. Thus, we hope to implement education and vocational workshops 2 to 3 times a month for older women who want to pursue other avenues who do not have the access to resources to do so.
What are some of the challenges and risks you will face in Zambia, and how would you address them?
Some challenges that we will face have to do with funding. If we don't get the proper funding, or if there's a delay in funding, we can't carry out a lot of the activities we have planned. In addition, we have the possible obstacle of compliance with local organizations, particularly the Zambian government, and potential unwillingness of the stakeholders, such as the farmers, women, and children, to participate in our programs. In addition, in terms of cultural attitudes towards women entering the workforce or pursuing education, can be hard to navigate, especially in a society that is very traditionally formed on the basis that women should become caretakers rather than working. And lastly, though out of our control, the weather and climate can prove to impact the agricultural production, which could force us to alter the course of our interventions.
What are some indicators of success after implementing the project?
So, in terms of indicators of success, if we see an improved consumption of the sweet potato in rural Zambia through market supply and demand, we can see that our agricultural programs are working well, in addition to seeing decreased stunting in children and decrease in vitamin A deficiencies. In terms of our education program for young schoolgirls, if we see improved school attendance and improved literacy amongst those girls. Lastly, if we see a larger amount of women employed in the Zambian workforce in sectors such as agriculture, horticulture, copper mining, and processing, which are huge sectors of the Zambian economy, then that's also an indicator of success.
How do you plan on sustaining the program after spending the initial $1 billion?
Well, with each of our 3 proposed main programs, we have an educational component that goes along with it. So that kind of promotes sustainability, where we're kind of training the farmers, the teachers, the workshop leaders, and we're also working with local development organizations to be able to pass on the knowledge that they're providing. And also, we have teamed up with local universities in Zambia and also American universities for student volunteers to go and actually participate in these programs and kind of create an ongoing process or volunteer externship as well.
How will you allocate the $1 billion that you are granted from the Luna Foundation?
From the $1 billion we hope to receive from the Luna Foundation, we hope to distribute 45% into the agricultural project, 25% into vocational training for women, 20% into education, and 10% for other miscellaneous expenses, including advertising and transportation.
Now that we have heard about the organization, let's hear from a local Zambian about their view on the implementation of the project.
My name is Tandi.
I am a native Zambian, and while I love my home, I recognize that there are many problems that need to be fixed here. My greatest worry is for the well-being of my children. I am concerned that they will grow up unhealthy, unable to access the kinds of nutrition that they need. With the information about micronutrients that Step Up Africa is providing to us, and the training and resources for growing crops such as sweet potatoes, I know that the youth in my community will be able to live longer, healthier lives. The vocational training Step Up Africa promises us will also give locals within the community knowledge that we can pass along for generations. The programs that Step Up Africa is instating give me great hope for my own future, for the future of my children, and for Zambia as a country striving for better health, education, and equality.
Thank you, Naisha and Tandi, for your time. For more information, you can visit www.stepupafrica.org/Zambia. See you next time on Geography 130 News.